From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather, live at 5.
Fred Gossett here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center on this Wednesday afternoon, live at 5 with your latest forecast. And as you can see by the red lights on the desk and the red graphics over my shoulder, we are in storm alert here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center because of the potential winter storm that is coming for the area Friday and widespread hazardous impacts from that. We'll begin here with the winter storm watch that remains in place across Middle Tennessee and North Alabama. That goes into effect overnight tomorrow night and then runs until 6 a.m. Saturday. The counties in blue in our viewing area, that includes Wayne, Lawrence, Giles, Lewis, Murray, and Marshall counties in Tennessee, and Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin, Lawrence, Limestone, and Morgan counties in North Alabama under a winter storm watch until 6 a.m. Saturday morning. It's already been upgraded to a winter storm warning back to the west over West Tennessee and North Mississippi, because the start time for those guys will be during the evening hours and the overnight of Thursday. They're closer to the start time than we are. Our area will be upgraded to a winter storm warning during the overnight hours tonight and the pre-dawn hours. National Weather Service offices have already made us aware of that. That's their plan for overnight late tonight. They will upgrade our watch to a winter storm warning, but the warning off to the west does include Hardin County, Tennessee, and Tishomingo County in Mississippi in our viewing area. Here are the main bullet points for the winter storm situation coming Friday, and then we'll talk a little bit of local current weather before we get back to the details of the winter storm. The general timing is Friday and Friday night, with travel impacts as early as near or just before daybreak Friday morning, and then just ramping up as we go through the morning into the afternoon. This will be a widespread heavy snow for much of the area, 4 to 7 inches of snow accumulation in the main band across southern Middle Tennessee into parts of northwest Alabama, and there is certainly the potential for some isolated, heavier totals than that. South of the Tennessee River, it may be closer to 2 to 4 inches. We'll talk about the snow forecast here in just a moment. In North Alabama, this is one of the reasons why total south of the Tennessee River may be a little less than near and north of the Tennessee River. There's potential for a sleet and ice mix, at least for a few hours during the afternoon south of the Tennessee River over North Alabama, as some warmer air at about 3,000 to 5,000 feet works into those parts of the region. We'll be watching to see how that trends over the next day or so. Regardless, widespread travel impacts are likely Friday and Friday night, and at least spotty travel impacts may linger into the weekend as well. So we'll talk about some current weather here locally, and we're mostly clear skies as we get into the early evening on the Arctic Air Skycam network. We got our sunshine today, but despite that, temperatures ran 2 to 4 degrees colder than what models were showing and what National Weather Service forecast had. We kind of had an idea that may happen, so we went a couple degrees cooler and the temperatures were closer to our forecast, but many areas were only the low to mid 30s today across southern Middle Tennessee, and only mid 30s with isolated upper 30s over North Alabama. Some locations south of the Tennessee River were supposed to hit 40 this afternoon. That never happened. And already here at 5 o'clock, we're falling back into as low as the upper 20s near Waynesboro, lower 30s everywhere. And with the clear skies, dry air in place, and calming winds overnight, we will likely drop down into the teens for overnight lows across the area. Clouds from earlier have cleared out of the region. Maybe a few spotty clouds, certainly, but we expect mostly clear skies for the overnight here. Mid-teens across southern Middle Tennessee, upper teens over northwest Alabama and northeast Mississippi. And then we kind of get the same idea for our Thursday that temperatures may underperform by a couple degrees as well, because that's been a consistent trend, whether we've been cloudy or whether we've gotten sunshine so far this week. So we're holding daytime highs tomorrow only into the mid-30s across southern Middle Tennessee, and upper 30s, maybe flirting with 40 down toward Red Bay over northwest Alabama and northeast Mississippi, but that is questionable. Sunshine for the morning and midday hours, but clouds will start to thicken up as we head into the afternoon. And the earlier that happens, the more likely we are to underperform with the temperatures. So we'll start talking about the winter storm situation now. Here's beginning of the situation, 6 p.m. tomorrow evening on Futurecast. You notice some light precipitation off to the west. A lot of that will not be reaching the ground because initially there will be some dry air here in the lower levels of the atmosphere. So you will see some precipitation here through tomorrow evening on Futurecast that is likely not reaching the ground. Honestly, we don't think snowflakes start reaching the ground in southern Middle Tennessee, northwest Alabama until after midnight, maybe close to 2, 3 a.m. And that evaporation process is a cooling process, and that will cool temperatures down overnight into the upper 20s and lower 30s across the area. And that will set up the wintry weather with travel impacts likely beginning before sunrise Friday morning, likely in the 3 to 5 a.m. time frame. Friday morning is when travel impacts begin across the area. They ramp up through the morning as snow gets heavier. And then the Futurecast model here brings the wintry mix northward through northwest Alabama at midday and maybe even skirting southern Middle Tennessee. The problem with this idea is that we think temperatures are a couple degrees too warm in the computer model. Keep in mind, this is just a computer model simulation of what the computer model thinks will happen. With the rain event back on Sunday, the storm event back the Saturday before that, temperatures were 3 to 5 degrees too warm in this computer model. And we saw them too warm today in the computer model, too warm yesterday, too warm the day before. So it's running a little warm. So we have to keep that in the back of our minds. So it's likely that temperatures will be a couple degrees colder than what you see here printed on the model. So it's likely that that line between snow and a wintry mix will probably be a farther south a little bit into northwest Alabama, probably near or south of the Tennessee River by midday Friday. We will watch that for trends, but I think as far south as northwest Alabama, this will likely be mainly snow all the way down to Lauderdale, Limestone, and maybe even Colbert counties with a wintry mix south of there. Things taper off into the evening hours, maybe a few wraparound flurries during the overnight or into the early hours of our Saturday, but the main accumulation will be Friday into Friday evening. Here are our current thoughts for snowfall accumulation for this Friday winter storm. All of southern Middle Tennessee, Lauderdale County, and then from Athens northward in Limestone County back over to Cortland, Town Creek northward in Lawrence County, Alabama, and just about all of Colbert County. 4 to 7 inches of snowfall accumulation is our current projection. But somewhere in here, there will be a band where there could be some heavier totals than that in isolated spots. And trying to pick out exactly where that band is going to be is impossible this far in advance. We may not be able to pick out specifically where that band of heavier totals will be until the snow bands start setting up on radar early Friday morning. So that's why we put a plus mark there beside the 7, because there will be some areas with locally higher totals. South of the Tennessee River, the lighter blue area here, where we start to see more of a wintry mix, 2 to 4 inches of snow accumulation. And it's going to be a very sharp cutoff where we go from the 4 to 7 all the way down to 1 to 3 south of Alabama 36 here in portions of Lawrence County, Alabama, Morgan County, Alabama, over in the southern Franklin County. I think this places like Phil Campbell, Moulton, over to Hartselle may just be 1 to 3 inches of snow, but the temperatures are still going to be near or below freezing. So we're talking about the potential for some ice accumulation down here in these areas south of the Tennessee River. Now, all the way up to the Tennessee-Alabama state line, there could be some trace amounts of some light icing, but the better potential for maybe a 1/10 to 15/100ths of an inch, that's up to 0.15 of an inch down here south of the Tennessee River for some light ice accumulation. That's not really enough to cause widespread power issues or anything, but that will foul up travel all of the area, whether it's snow, sleet, or freezing rain. We'll see significant major travel problems Friday night, and maybe lingering into the weekend. Again, 4 to 7 inches of snow in that main band area, isolated heavier totals possible. An afternoon wintry mix possible near and south of the Tennessee River. Widespread significant travel issues likely. And where the heavier snow sets up, especially if it is 6+ inches, because this will be a heavier wet type snow, there could be some spotty power outages. But for now, at least, I don't expect anything too widespread in that department. 7-day forecast here. We're mostly sunny for the first half of our Thursday. Clouds increasing in the afternoon, and then snow moves in late overnight Thursday. Full-blown winter storm conditions Friday and the Friday night. Lingering flurries in the Saturday. And notice we've lowered the daytime highs from Sunday into early next week a couple degrees into the upper 30s instead of widespread lower 40s. There's a look at your latest 7-day forecast. I'll be back at 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock with another check of your local weather.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.